Hello, good day everyone. My name is Amy Adam, and on this occasion, I'm going to present to you the third chapter of the book How to Build a 21st Century School System that is written by Andreas Glacier. So, in this third chapter, it is about what makes high performing school systems different. So, what are some things that I'm going to present today? These are some points to ponder. The first one is the what are some common characteristics of high performing school systems? And the second questions to think about is what role do institutions and organizations play in the success of a school system? And the third point is what are some countries that have great education systems? In this case, I'm going to cover five of the top uh, what is it? What top five In this case, I'm going to cover top five countries that have great education systems. Let's start off with what we know about successful school systems. We know that international surveys like PISA can offer a snapshot of education systems at a certain moment in time, but apparently they cannot show how the school systems got to that point or how the institutions and organizations that might have helped or hindered the progress. Secondly, is to knowing what successful systems are doing. It does not necessarily tell us how to improve less successful systems. What does that mean? We know that policymakers often want immediate answers, but we know that the data, evidence, and research also takes time to develop. And it seems that watching a skilled chef make an amazing dish, even if you see all of the ingredients and the steps, it doesn't automatically make you a great chef. Learning from successful system itself is always helpful, but it doesn't give us an easy recipe to fix the struggling systems. But of course, it will be beneficial to know what makes the successful school systems. So these are the characteristics or the components of the high performing school systems. The first is making education a priority and then attracting the best candidates to teaching. So not only about the education systems alone, but it also talks about the human resources behind the education itself, which are the teachers. And then the third point is to create a culture of high expectations for all students. Then the last one is to ensure that policies and practices are aligned across the entire system. Let's cover and discuss this one by one. What does it mean by making education a priority? So, in this case, we know that first of all, it's about education prioritization and investment. So, education itself is one of the priority that can support a country. And then investment here also talks about the help of education in order to prepare the country for better socio-economic values and development. Secondly, it's about valuing the teaching profession. So in this case, valuing the teaching profession here is to prepare teachers as the non common profession that we have, but also value teachers as those who are responsible to be a part of the education system as a whole. And then it's about promoting education in society so that the society has to know the real value of education, that they will be able to, what is it, make the education itself as their priority in families so that they will know the importance of education in the society. But of course, to promote education in society, will have to be a part of the insurance of the high quality education itself. because there's no point if the education is not high quality, so people will not see the point of sending their kids to school. And then related to alignment of policies and practices, of course, they have to be related to the practices and also the rules and the education policies that has to be uh, designed in such a way that it can help the students and prioritize the students' need. And the last one is the supportive environment. So related to the supportive environment, they have to be supportive for both teachers and also students. So they will be enabling the teachers to figure out what they need to teach their students. And the second point is to attract the best candidate to teaching. So we know that the society itself value teachers, especially in Indonesia. Um, we don't really have the good recruitment and retention of high quality teachers process. So nowadays, the government has been fixing that, but in the past, it seems that everyone or every graduate from the university, or probably in the past, like 20 or 30 years ago, teaching jobs are not the expected jobs. So selecting the best candidates for teaching should be done to perform the high school systems in this case. These systems should select and educate the teaching staff carefully, and they provide an environment in which the teachers work together to frame good practice. They also have to encourage the teachers to grow in their career and pursue professional development related to their career. But if they are a new teacher, so of course they have to be related to the mentorship and induction process. They have to provide opportunities to the best performance to acquire more status and more responsibility for that. And related to the compensation reflecting professional standard, that has to be done through this way by attracting and retaining high quality teachers. High performing school systems can ensure that every student can benefit from the excellent teaching. So, if all of these aspects are done thoroughly, this can help maintain the quality of education as a whole. So, that is related to the teachers. And the next point is to create a culture of high expectations for all students. So, setting high expectations here does not always uh, related to the good academic performance or good academic score, but it is about establishing a standard that shape the curriculum and shape the whole education system that create rigorous focus and also coherent content. It also related to the streamlining the curriculum that we or the government, the policymakers here, will be able to reduce the overlap in the curriculum across grades to reduce variation in how the curricula are delivered in different schools and also to reduce the inequity between the socioeconomic groups. So most countries have incorporated standards into their curricula and also into their external examinations, which are commonly used as gateways for students to enter the workforce or the next stage of education, or even it can be both. So across the OECD countries themselves, the students in school systems that require standards-based external examination score more than 16 point or higher on average than those in school systems that do not use exam system. Therefore, by setting and defining high expectations, high performing school systems ensure that every student needs to be challenged in order to achieve their full potential. And the last aspect is from the policies and the practice. It should be aligned across the entire systems. So policies and practices needs to be aligned across the entire system in order to ensure that the policies are coherent and sustained periods of time. And they have to see that they are consistently implemented. They should be aligning the policies and practices across the entire system to ensure that every student will benefit from the consistent and high quality education. By aligning the policies and practices, high performing school systems ensure that every student has the same access to the opportunities and the resources available, regardless of their background or location. So they have to provide the equal opportunities for students. So we know that the institution or the organizations plays a vital role in the success of a school system because the policymakers, the organization needs to provide a supportive environment for teachers and students. So to make sure that the teaching and learning process is effective, teachers should be teaching and students should be learning. Students have their own needs, and these needs should be accommodated by the teachers and also the school itself. They also have the role as a um, the quality assurance to make sure that the policies are coherent over sustained periods of time. So we know that the curriculum itself is not um, always a fixed one. I mean, it will change over time. It needs to be adjusted based on the needs of the society in general. Therefore, they have to consistently implementing policies and practices across the entire system. So the whole school should have the same system. The whole school in all areas have to be implementing the same policies and the same system to provide the equity, the equality, and the accessibility for all students. They also have to encourage the collaboration and sharing of best practices among schools and districts. So the institutions, in this case, the Ministry of Education, for example, they have to uh, give the facilities, they have to facilitate all of the schools and the districts to share their best practices. What is best in one area or one school is not probably similar to what they have in other schools, but of course it will be always beneficial to share their experience so that if there are challenges they can face them together. They will share their challenges, they will share the solutions. They also have lots of ideas that they can brainstorm together. Okay, so enough with the factors that makes the high quality schools systems. So we're going to five different countries here as a snapshots of five top education systems. Probably we have known all of them, I guess, because it's also very popular all around the world, especially when we have Singapore, Estonia, Canada, Finland, and also Shanghai in China. Let's go with the Singapore first. So these countries first have achieved success through a variety of approaches. For example, like prioritizing teachers' quality over class size and others, encouraging professional development and also innovation in pedagogy, and also and applying the other systems. That their ability to recognize and address the underperformance and inequities in their education systems rather than the location's well or culture. So in Singapore itself, the educational success here is achieved through a deliberate decision to use education as a foundation. So Singapore itself has applied the first principle of prioritizing education because they believe that education is the foundation for building an advanced economy. Education was to be the engine of economic growth, and their emphasis on education went through a series of reinventions. They reflect and also they reinforce the country's economic progress. They also have become the model of the principle of hiring teachers from among the best graduates. So in this case, teachers are not those leftovers, leftover graduates, just like what we have here. Uh, that when you go to the teaching college, it is not the best way of career that you can pursue. But in Singapore, teachers are selected from the best graduates, and they are kept well trained and motivated. Singapore introduced a process for recruiting and educating high quality staff with the aim of attracting the brightest and the best into the classroom. In addition, there is a strong emphasis on the professional development of the teachers so that they keep up to date with their skills. With this expectation that these bright, ambitious teachers will want to keep advancing through their careers. They are entitled up to 100 hours of professional development per year. But now, I believe that we, Indonesian teachers, maybe that we have to attend like 100 hours of professional development or trainings. The class, our class, will be left abandoned. This is also tightly controlled. It is also centralized that makes a virtue of consistency. So this has been done for a long time. All the teachers are trained at the same institution so that every teacher will have emerged from the same production line, quote unquote. And then the teachers are also appointed with the aim of ensuring that all schools have a fair share of the best teachers. So it's not only one, like several best teachers that is located in one school, but they have to be fairly distributed. They will go into schools with a clear notion of what is expected on them. Therefore, in return, they can expect high status and also high public approval. So the main artist in the success of the Singapore education system is in their teachers and also the teaching recruitment process. How about Estonia? Let's see. We have known that apparently in Estonia's education system has undergone significant changes because they have regained their independence in 1991. It's very young, right? After the independence, Estonia decentralized their school system. They gave, so unlike the Singapore when everything is centralized, Estonian decentralized the school system. Schools have more autonomy with the freedom to make decisions about the curriculum, budgets, and also hiring and also dismissing teachers. Families also have the right to choose a school for their children. There, the schools have to compete to attract the students. Estonia's education system is publicly funded and there is only relatively little private funding for education. However, Estonia does not spend as much on education as some other countries. Despite this, however, Estonia has achieved high levels of student performance in international assessments such as PISA. To maintain this success, Estonia has had to address challenges. What is it? For example, aging teacher force and declining population of school-aged children. The country, however, has responded this by increasing the teacher salaries and offering a professional development opportunities to attract more and more young graduates into teaching professions. How about Canada? We go to the third country that Canada here is successful in terms of one of the world's top performing school systems in the form of their opportunity to give inclusive education. So they have this inclusive education model. They are able to integrate a large number of immigrant children into their schools. Canada's results in PISA also show that there is nothing inevitable about these immigrants performing worse than the rest of their classmates. So the school system is something of a model for integration, especially considering that the immigrants enter a country that already hosts their French and English speaking population, and also the First Nation of indigenous people. The thing that makes them unique is that are able to integrate the content from different cultures into the curriculum so that the students learn early on how to see the world from the different perspectives. Teachers also help the students to develop positive attitudes towards diversity and modify their teaching so that the students from different local and social ethnic groups they are able to succeed. In addition, entry to the teaching profession in Canada is selective and better quality and also better paid. Teachers tend to get better student results because the teachers is also a top-notch graduates. Canada's education system is run at the level of provinces and territories, so it is decentralized, with local ministers running the regional school systems. This has raised questions about how Canada's success in PISA can be explained when there isn't any single federal system to analyze. So this is about Canada. Let's go to Finland now. In Finland, their education system is also recognized as one of the world's top performing school systems. Their success in education is mostly based on the assumption that disadvantaged students can also succeed in schools. Therefore, they have the fundamental philosophy of inclusivity and quality. Whether all schools, no matter where they're located, should be of high quality. The impact of socioeconomic status on results is much weaker than the average. Finland has made teaching a sought after career, with the aim of attracting the brightest and the best teachers into the classroom. There is also a strong emphasis on teachers' professional development so that the teachers keep up to date with their skills. Finland schools are also comprehensive in more than the range of the students' abilities. They are places where students spend less time in school than is observed in many highly competitive Asian systems. So we know that what's popular from Finland's education system is that there is little to no homework, and school inspections has been abolished. Uh, Also related to the less school time also. Their education system evolved in the early 1990s when unemployment in Finland approached 20% of their GDP. The GDP was falling and public debt was rising. So education is offered as a mean of reshaping their economy, with a shift towards investing in technology and the growing market in telecommunications. Therefore, we know that the number of Finns working in research and development grew rapidly. Uh, like in the early 1990s, we have Nokia, one of the best telecommunication company, which went from a 19th century business, like a pulp mill businesses, to become one of the biggest names of mobile phones in the early 21st century. So let's go to Shanghai, the last but not least top performing school systems. So the city's education system has undergone significant changes since the mid 1990s, when it was able to deliver the basics of 6 years of primary education and 3 years of secondary education for all students. But before that, the city's education system focused on mostly rebuilding itself after being destroyed between 1966 and around early 70s because they had what's so-called as China's Cultural Revolution. So Shanghai schools are characterized by a systemic approach. They are built on meritocratic principles with the aim of getting the most from students. The best teachers are also directed towards the schools needing the greatest support, and strong schools are expected to support the weaker ones. They have the aim of raising the overall standard. Education is also intensely competitive, with the students supplementing their learning in school with long hours of homework and private tuition. The expectations for these students are also high. About 80% of students continue into tertiary education. Another key feature in the Shanghai school system, they consistent with other top performers. They also have the high quality teachers. The selection, education, and deployment of excellent teachers is how the system can put their policies into practice. Professional development continues throughout a teacher career with an emphasis on education research. So we know that looking at the results from 2009, what is striking is how few students scored poorly. There were plenty of students in Shanghai who did very well, but it was the absence of underachievers that propelled Shanghai to the top of international rankings. So those are top five uh, schools or countries and cities with the best education system. So we go to the conclusion, also reaching the end to this presentation. We know that high performing education systems they have several key features, including a focus on equity, a systemic approach to education, a strong emphasis on teacher quality and professional development, and a culture of collaboration and continuous improvements. These systems prioritize the needs of all students regardless of their background, and they also work to ensure that every student has access to high quality education. They also recognize the importance of investing in teachers and providing them with the support and also the resources that they need to succeed. By adopting these practices, countries can create education systems that prepare students for their success in the 21st century. So that is the summary of chapter 3 related to what makes high performing schools different. And also, we have covered five of the top world's top education systems. Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye. Have a nice day.